Good evening. This is George Harasz, the George's Family Matters live. Today is January 12th, and it is Thursday. Sorry, I had to look around. We have tonight as our guest Carlos Harasz. And Carlos, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're having problems with the phones. Carlos, just to get us started and to buy myself some time because we had a little problem again. As you know, I tried calling you. There's a problem. My computer went down. I think I know what the problem is at this point because messages came up for the first time when we had problems. But Carlos, what's going on with you in terms of Carrie's expecting a baby? Today was the delivery date. And by the way, I'm wearing a
Yesterday
pink.
was.
Yesterday, sorry, yesterday was. Oh, you
Yep.
you got it. Right down to the day, of course. I'm wearing a pink shirt today, Carlos. I'm expecting Sophia to be born any time, so I'm all set. So how are
Uh-huh.
things going?
We're still waiting. It's a stubborn baby for sure. Um, we do have an appointment set for Monday evening to get to have the baby induced, but hopefully it happens naturally before then.
How's Carrie feeling about it?
Well, she's very over it at this point.
What do you mean over it?
She
She just
wants the
wants to
baby
give
out.
birth and move on.
Yeah, she's done with being the whole pregnant part. Yeah,
That's a big
ready
job
to
for
eat
her.
real foods again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Carlos, I just need one more second because my printout's coming. I hope. So, what does inducement mean? What do they do?
Uh, there's just there's different steps. The one they mentioned to us, I probably won't say, but they do whatever they can without having to do a C-section to force that baby out. And some pretty gruesome details were given. So,
I've learned from witnessing the birth of a child that it is not a pretty sight, honestly. It's very painful. Um, your brother Joseph came out. It was like I felt that they were going to pull him out. They were using forceps to really pull on him. When he came out, he had marks on the side of his head, and it was something.
yeah.
Okay, Carlos, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because now that I have my printout of what to talk about, because the computer went down, I just want to start with it is definitely Thursday, January 12th, like I said earlier. Coming up ahead for next week, we have a full week. On Monday, we have complex trauma with Maureen O'Neill, traumatized children and their loving families. Maureen is an awesome person. She's involved in a lot of well, I'll let her explain what she's involved in, but she gets very involved in things in Washington, D.C. on the state level, federal level. She gets involved with a few groups. She's got a heart of gold. She wants to see change in a very positive way to help children in many different ways. She's a very interesting guest. On Tuesday, the 17th, we have a new baby with Lori Landry. Let the attachment begin. And Lori's a returning guest. She's going to talk about her specialty, which is attachment. And we're going to talk specifically about babies and techniques. And if there's any young mothers out there that are wondering what to do, that should be the day that you're listening. On Wednesday, we have Adopting a Baby with Carolyn Goodridge, the foster adoption delivery. So, Carolyn, again, another returning guest, she's going to talk to us about babies coming into the home. They're a little bit different than a baby being delivered to a birth family. When it's a foster adoption delivery, she's going to talk about some things with that and how to prepare. Then next Thursday, we're going to have New Baby, New Family, New Worries with Carlos Harasz, The Realities of Parenthood. Carlos, that's going to be an interesting show. Then on
It will.
it will. It's going to be you, and we're going to drill you on a few things. Kind of help other young parents prepare a little bit as well. And then on Friday, we have something that's going to be very difficult, but it's something that a few people have asked me to do at this point. I've never read the book Dismantled, the Family on William Street East, which talks about the dismantling of our own family that includes Carlos. A few people have asked me to read the book, and actually asked me to read it on the air because I've had some people ask for it in a cassette format. We don't have such a thing. So what I'm going to do is on Fridays, I'm going to read a section every Friday, starting next Friday, until the book is done. The sessions will be numbered, so if you miss it, you can go and read the next or listen to the next session. That's going to be a tough one for me, I believe, but I would like to read the book. I'd like to see what Susie Mitchell Collins said in the book and just kind of go through that. So that's going to be kind of hard. Um, well, I just noticed, Carlos, we have problem number 2 come up. We're missing some thumbnails, so I'm not going to talk about the next part. But today we have starting a new family with Carlos Harasz, foster child, adoptee, new father. Carlos, we already said hi to you once, and we found out how Carrie's doing, kind of how you're doing. You're an official father to be. It should have been yesterday, as you pointed out. We're running a day late. I think you can tell by my text messages, I'm ready for her to show up.
Yeah, the whole world is.
I bet they are. And you know, it's an exciting time, and I think that it's something that's also nerve-wracking. So Carlos, what's
I'm not overly nervous.
no? Waiting
No, I'm
waiting
more excited than anything.
well, good. That's a good healthy way to be. Carlos, we've talked now the last few weeks, we've talked about your biological family. We talked about your foster families and your foster care. Then we talked about being adopted. And now you're going to be a new father. We touched base on that a little bit, but you're starting a whole new family. What does that feel like to you? It's like everything's going to change for you any minute. Carrie could like cut our show short by coming over and say it's time. How does that feel? Because that's how your life is going to be from now on, where something's said and all of a sudden you have to go take care of your family needs. It's no longer going to be Carlos.
I have nothing but excitement going on for me personally.
That's excellent. Keep that,
Yeah.
Carlos, because you're going to need that. You know, when the baby's screaming and, you know, all the other stuff. But
Well,
you know what? It's all a good thing because it's just part of it and you give your love. So,
it's also my opportunity to raise a child in a way that isn't wasn't in a way that's better from what my experience was growing up overall. So
hmm
I think that's what I'm really most excited about is I get to show this little princess that there is a wonderful world out there. It's all about really who you surround yourself with.
hmm and Carlos, what was it like for you for the last 9 months? Because now we can say it's a full 9 months. What was that like finding out about the baby? Let's start there. What did that feel like?
I think I'm personally from the beginning have been more was I think we're both equally excited and ready for this little girl to come, but I think from the get go, I think I was more excited and more physically and mentally prepared for the obstacle that was thrown our way.
hmm
Um,
Was it planned?
and no, it was not planned,
And
but
you
I'm big in believing that everything happens for a reason. So
And you know what? I'm not a big believer of that, but I do believe in this. Things that happen, you then have a choice. You can either make it good or you make it bad. You look for the good or you look for the bad. And you've all along have looked for the good. I think that you learned a lot of that through your childhood is to try to look for the good even if it's hard to find. Am I right on that?
mm, yeah,
And I think
like well,
Carrie,
that's where it starts for recovering. Is if you could find that little piece of it to hold on to and be positive about, you can start working on the other negative things.
mm-hmm. And Carlos, by the way, I'm going to open up the phone lines early. They're already open, actually, hopefully. The number
Uh-huh.
is 202-999-4699. We did have phone problems getting you and the call in studio connected together. I'm looking at the screen. It looks like we're connected. We'll see if anybody calls in. Today, you can call with anything. Call and congratulate Carlos. Call and talked about your babies that were born. I have a friend that is the grandmother of 3 triplets that were born 6 months ago. So we want to hear from you,
Ooh.
anything baby related. Um, so you both got excited, and then what comes next? The preparation?
Oh yeah, I've always thought I was a little mature for my age, but in the last 9 months, I've definitely seen myself even take a more significant jump in my maturity level,
In what way?
and how. Uh, well, I went from going from cheap insurance to making sure that I had not just things for the car, but I also protected everything in our home. So in case of the house burns down, that I still have money or something to go with this child, and not just, oh, well, who needs renter's insurance? Because that's when I was by myself. I didn't care about renter's insurance. I paid the cheapest I could for car insurance, and I had plenty of money for food and beer, which is not what the circumstances are anymore.
So that's a big
So
change for you.
now, oh yeah, everything. It's not about going the cheap because it was just about taking care of myself before. Now everything I do, like you said before, is everything's for this little girl. So there is no shortcut. It's grow up or shut up.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that in terms of what you need to do and things like that. So,
Yeah.
preparation, what was involved in preparing? What kind of things did you have to buy?
Ooh. Uh, everything from diapers and wipes to bassinet for her, bassinet, a crib that I will never want to ever assemble again. They're not very parent friendly cribs or anything that's baby assembled to put together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even now, when I look at vehicles, I'm looking for what is most efficient on gas, but going to survive a large car accident.
Sounds like a lot of changes
Versus
for
before, I didn't care if it was a tin can, as long as it got me from point A to point B.
so those are big changes for a 24-year-old single guy to all of a sudden realize you're going to be a father. It sounds like the game has changed quite a bit.
Yeah. But I think I'm very prepared for it. I'm excited, so it's making this easy for me to prepare myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
I don't have, I'm not, I can't say honestly that I'm scared. In the least, it really, I know that there is no handbook for it, but like I said, I'm so excited for the opportunity. I really am.
excellent. Our phone number is 202-999-4699. I won't read that again. Feel free to call in anytime during the show and talk to us, join the conversation. Carlos, you bought a lot of things. Do you have everything you need at this point?
Yeah, I think we were very fortunate from the amount of family and friends we had that helped and pitched in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the most things we really had to buy was clothes, and even that we got a lot of newborn things, which is perfect. And a lot of the big stuff we didn't really have to do for ourselves, or um, one of the grandparents found it on a steal of a price, brand new, still in its box, just wasn't ever used. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we got very fortunate. I think that we happened to be very blessed during this whole process, and I'm not very religious to say that. So,
You don't have to be religious to have blessings, because blessings, I think, is yes, you can be blessed from God, but you can just have blessings from the universe, blessings of having the things you need. Those are just all blessings. So,
uh-huh.
you're looking at insurance different, you're looking at your car different, your homeowner's insurance or your rental insurance. Um, what about work? Has your mind changed at all around work?
Well, I've become more demanding. I've taken more of aggressive role that I am a very smart, educated person who has a lot to offer and who's very good at communicating and understanding people. I believe in just taking care of the people first, and then we can handle what I like to call corporate business afterwards. We have to get people in and out, happy, satisfied. We can fix some mistakes, move some numbers around if we have to. That's not my concern. Um, and that's really how I'm also looking about parenthood. Is my concern is this child. Everything else can kind of wait. So I went into my job. I told him what I thought my assets were to this job, and I thought I deserved more. So they've offered me a transfer in position and increase in pay. So hopefully that works out well.
Good. You know what? I think that you're going to need some additional money to help pay for the baby. I have Carrie, by the way, on the screen right now. If I did it right, I believe I did. This was right around Christmas time, so it was just a couple of weeks ago. She looks very happy in there. Here's a picture of the two of you standing in front of your Christmas tree with your, I'm assuming that they're ugly sweaters. If they're not, well, they are. The reality is they're kind of ugly.
know that they are ugly sweaters.
It's a tradition. And here's one of you standing in
we like
front of your fireplace. What's that? You like what?
we liked her Christmas sweater because it had a big penguin on it right where her belly was.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was very cute.
So
So, Carlos, what was it like in terms of going to the doctor and appointments and stuff like that? What had to happen with that?
the doctors act like this happens every day. So I mean, it obviously does happen every day, but that's how they treated it. They were quick, swift, and easy. Except for there was times I got frustrated. I just thought they were either didn't care enough or they were taking too long, and I was more concerned that, hey, this is the care of my child. Someone needs to move faster before I do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm having a lack of impatience when it comes to taking care of my daughter.
I think that's called being protective, watching out for
Yeah.
her needs, advocating for her needs, advocating for your fiance's needs.
hmm
Did you go to all of those medical appointments?
Oh yeah, every single appointment. I took Thursdays out of my schedule so that I could be with her for every doctor's appointment.
So you've already dedicated yourself quite a bit too, then, to the appointments.
Yeah, I'm willing to work as much as I can, but it's important that I have enough time to be at home. I'm not looking for 70 hours a week and uh, a a name title on my desk. I don't even need a desk. I just want to make a comfortable living and still be home.
Well, truth be told, you work weekends. You work during the week, so you just ask for Thursday to be off, that to be your day off, so you can attend your baby appointments with Carrie, which is a nice
Yeah.
commitment
And
on
I
your
plan on
part.
making it the daddy-daughter date that day. So,
Are you going to keep Thursdays off so you can be home on Thursdays?
yep, yep. Home on Thursdays, and as she gets older, it's her day where dad and her go out. Whether we go shopping, whether we go out to eat, whether we go for a walk, whether we do a bike ride, something. It's just the day where it's just her and I. Even mommy doesn't have to be involved.
Give Carrie a day of rest. That would be nice for her too.
I, hmm
So, what else happens during this period, this 9 months where your life transforms from bachelor that's thinking about beer in the tin car, who cares what kind of car it is, to this guy now all of a sudden that is rearranging his schedule, buying different insurances, looking at different cars. Do you guys have money for a car, by the way?
No, we don't have money for a new car. I would love that, but even like right now, I looked over my car. I put in order what needs to be done first, what's more important. So I got obviously all the fluids and oils done for the winter, so we can survive that. The next thing for spring is I'm saving up to do the brakes and rotors, take 1 weekend off, get it done, and then next I'll save up for a new suspension, and hopefully the car holds up.
Now, Carlos, I don't mean to make it sound like um, you were ever a reckless teenager or reckless young 20-year-old. However, have you always had insurance on your car at points that you should have had insurance?
No,
Okay. I
not in college.
exactly. Which I found out.
I had studying to do that was very more important.
Okay. My point is though, I find it remarkable because I've noticed during this last 9 months a huge change. You said that you see it. I think everybody sees that. You have to. You have a baby coming in. Like you said, you're already protective of her.
hmm
Um, Anything else that you want to add to what's been going on over the last 9 months in terms of the baby coming?
I think it's just a very natural process. I didn't
Okay.
sit down and think that one day I have to make all these changes. I woke up each day early, did all these things, had people look at me like I'm a crazy new parent because I am, just making sure that I was doing everything right. I know some things are out of my control, but I was thinking if I do my part, then the rest will take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even now, I make sure I don't go to bed. Even my roommates help me with. No one goes to bed without making sure that the baby and Carrie is full, satisfied, tired, has a blanket, has a pillow, and is good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Then we figure out our own stuff. So
So different priorities.
yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, totally. My priorities have totally changed. Even if there are times that money comes tight, like I said, my job is to make sure that Carrie and the baby are taken care of and fed. My priority that's last is my physical self. But then once again, like I said, I have good roommates, and I even have friends at work, even managements. They said, "Hey, if you ever, I know how much you do for Carrie. If you ever need a meal, just let us know. We'll feed you." I'm like, "Well, thank you so much."
Well, that might be something that you're going to appreciate more once the baby is born and you guys are very busy at the beginning.
Yeah, everyone says they can tell my daughters are going to be spoiled by the way I talk about her at work. So
And Carlos, again, the phone lines are open for people to call. I encourage you to call in, ask whatever questions you want of Carlos. We'd love to hear from you. Carlos, I put a picture of you guys back up again. Okay, so we talked about a lot of changes in you. What's been going on with Carrie, the mom to be? What's it been like for her for the last 9 months?
I think overall, I think more so for her, it's probably been a scarier process. Um, she's obviously a little bit younger than I am, so she's still going through her own certain experiences, and now she's had to grow up a little faster than she anticipated because of the baby coming. But I also think that because of some of her own upbringing, she's uh, more prepared than she thinks she is. Um, she she spends all her time looking at things for all three of us to wear. How she's going to be involved in the wedding. Yeah, she's spending most of her time in distracting herself of what we're all going to do as a family. So I think she's very excited. I think she was scared at first, but now I think she's very excited of the future that we are providing for ourselves. And I
What
think that's the biggest part is that we're doing it ourselves for the most part, and we're really excited about that.
what were her fears based on? Do you know?
I think some of the fears was how some family was going to react. I think finishing her school was another fear, but the very first thing we are well off.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Carlos, how did your family take it? How did your family? How did her family? Maybe we don't need to be specific. Let's just say, in general, how did people take it?
I would say my side of the family was very excited from the get go. Her side of the family was a little reluctant at first, but now they're more excited than she is. So,
Mm-hmm. You know, I want to throw some
so
advice
yeah, it didn't
to
take them long.
Carlos. I'd like to throw some advice to grandparents to be. I was one of them. When you first told me that you were expecting a baby, really honestly, the first thing that came to my mind is okay, this is the new reality. It's not a time to get upset. It's not a time to make things more difficult for anybody. It's a time to say, this is the new reality. I wasn't throwing a party for it. I wasn't thrilled, happy about it. But I realized this is what's happening. And what you guys needed more than anything is a lot of support and love. And I got excited along with you, and I was very proud to see your transformation. And it wasn't as big as you think either. You've always been a very responsible kid, but you really stepped up to the plate with the baby coming, which I was very impressed with, which is a great thing. So, getting back to Carrie, did her emotions go kind of differently than they used to be? Did she stay pretty much the same that she's always been?
Oh, girls are never moody, Dad. Don't you know this?
I've read that sometimes when a woman is pregnant,
It's
she might get
impossible.
moody. Well, I read that there's a slight chance of moodiness. Was there any tiny bits of moodiness?
There might have been a small chance of that have happened. A small chance.
And how does somebody handle things when moodiness happens? And keep in mind, this is moodiness caused by her body going through huge amounts of changes as another human being is developing inside of her. How did you handle those possibilities?
Well, it worked out for me that I have a bigger sweet tooth than she did. So anything involving cookies, ice cream, milkshake, cake, pudding, fruit, I was safe to feed and was safe for at least that time period.
Mm-hmm.
So food's been a good friend to us.
Well, that's excellent. It's always good to have food as your good friend.
Yeah.
So now comes the easy part. You guys just have to wait for the contractions. You both went through
So
changes.
it's
You
not the easy part.
That's
We
not the
got the
easy part.
long part done, but you
Car-
still have to deliver this baby.
There's a little bit of sarcasm, and that's the easy part.
Yeah.
Probably about 8 pounds of sarcasm in there.
Oof. Yeah.
So the baby's due any day. Are you guys sleeping normal?
Uh, Probably not really, but we're trying to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's all you really can do.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Are,
we go to bed late and wake up early, so.
so at this point, you have a new family that's ready to launch. You guys have already prepared for it. Would you agree that you're prepared for all this at this point?
As best as you can be. I don't think you physically ever are.
Do you think that you hit every single item that you're going to need? Or do you think that there's going to be some big surprises coming?
I think I took all the responsible decisions and moves that a good parent would do.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, am I prepared for everything? No, because I don't. We don't even know what's in store. I don't. This babe, we have no idea what's in store. But I think as far as the the basics and fundamentals, I think we covered those very well. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good. I'm very happy that at work you're asking for more responsibilities. You're asking for promotions. You're asking for them to entrust you more so you can earn some more money. I think that that's an excellent thing because money's going to be tighter. I know that it's tight for you now. I know that you guys are scraping now. I'm sure that it's going to get tighter as the baby is born and starts to have needs. But at the same time, you're being very responsible about it. What advice do you have for other young parents that are expecting a baby? What would you say to them?
Or I would tell them, don't be. I wouldn't. I wouldn't spend my time being scared or nervous because it's. There's no way it's not going to be the most rewarding, best experience of your life. Um, Going through everything I have in my life experience, I thought would have prepared me the most for and matured me the most for life what it is. But no, I think I've seen more changes in my 9 months preparing for this baby than I have in all the hard efforts I put in the last 24 years, to be honest. I've
Really?
really become a full grown adult knowing that I have a piece of me entering this world and now it is all up to me. So yeah.
Well, that's nice. It's nice that you're seeing the change yourself. Um, that is very nice. Carlos, there's a quote that I'm going to try to put up that I just want you to comment on. Hold on, let me just get this. Okay. The quote is tough times don't last, tough people do. Tough times don't last,
Mm.
tough people do. What do you think of that?
I like that quote a lot. I might have to ask for that again later. It's a good way to describe myself. I always tell people that I'm not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest, but I am the most determined person in this room, which is why I will succeed you.
Do you think that that's a big part of success?
Oh yeah, I there's you can't there's no way to experience success without experiencing failure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all my hard times has been the stepping stones for what greatness I still have to offer. Yeah, and some of the changes I've made, I'm no longer time dwelling and being upset. I've got too much good going on. I don't have time to waste my time on that. So yeah, I like to think I'm one of the toughest people I know for sure.
And would you agree that a big part of that is just sticking with something and making it work?
Yeah.
Because I've come to
It doesn't even have
realize,
to be the same something. It's just learning that, like, just because something doesn't work doesn't mean it's totally over. Doesn't mean it's done and failed. Because there's more than one way to get from point A to point B. There's a million ways.
hmm Carlos, that's what George's Family Matters is, by the way, the show, George's Family Matters Live. I'm no professional. I'm no expert at this, but I'm going to bring people that have very interesting things to come and talk about in terms of families and um, family matters rather, and things that people need to know about attachment. That's going to be a big thing because it is a big thing and people don't realize how big of a thing. We're going to bring that out more over time. You're going to be talking more about different things, and hopefully we're going to bring in the young people, and feel free to call in, by the way, that want to talk about their families and their issues going on with their families, because you have a lot to offer there as well. And I look at it this way: not being an expert, not being a professional, what's going to make my success is every week getting on the air, doing these broadcasts until they become successful, until people are watching. As of the last show that we had, 593 views for the month of December. That's pretty impressive. We only had 10 shows as of that time, and there were 593 people that viewed our shows. We have some people that are subscribers at this point. We're starting to broadcast more than just to the YouTube channel. It'll be on Facebook in the next week or two. It's already in a couple other places. I don't understand them all, so I can't even tell you where they are. But Carlos, I agree. Success comes from not giving up. If you stop, then you're done. If you don't stop and you
That
keep
actually
working at it,
reminds me.
of what?
At work, I ran into these. I don't want to name them yet. I know that they've found me on Facebook. They're actually interested in purchasing the book Dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
They I I got not in trouble, but my boss was like, "People love you, huh?" And I was like, because I sat at their table with them for about 36 minutes, and they were asking me. They knew who I was
Mm-hmm.
because they back of the book from someone working in the front. They asked me if I was that boy. I said, "Yeah." I found out they actually had both have adopted on their own, adopted girls. They knew what reactive attachment disorder was. We got into a full conversation, and now I told them about the broadcasting, and now they want to listen in on it. So you are making a difference, and people are listening. So
That's an excellent
yeah,
thing
it was
because,
very exciting for me to hear too.
Carlos, our family had a horrible, tragic thing happen, and the tragedy was completely avoidable. I want to make that clear to the world of what happened, because other people have this happen all the time. We're not the first ones, we're not going to be the last ones, but hopefully we can make it start going away by educating people, giving them a place to go to listen. And this is a great time to put a plug in for our public speaking. Carlos is available for public speaking along with myself, along with Lori Landry, along with a bunch of people that we have, depending upon what the audience is going to be. We will cater ourselves to whatever audience you have and make sure that it's relevant to them, and we're fun, lively people, especially if it's going to be something like public speaking where we get to be there in person. And it's like right now, it's me, Carlos, on the screen. People can see me and they see the other person as a photo. Hopefully, in time, that's going to change as well. We're hoping to get live guests, not just the voice of the guest. But making a difference is a huge piece, Carlos, and you're part of it. You wanted to do this every Thursday, and you have the same intention as me, which is to help people not have to go through it. There were mental disabilities involved in our family that were exploited by the powers that be. There was a lot of things in there that really were terrible. The book goes through it. I'm going to start reading that book. It's a great time to talk about that. This coming, or not tomorrow, but next Friday, I'm going to start reading from that book on Fridays only. And I hope that people learn from it. Carlos, we're going to wrap up for tonight. I just want to remind people that next week we have a full week, Monday through Friday. We're hoping that Carolyn Goodridge for Wednesday has her voice back. She hasn't had it for about a week and a half, so I'm hoping she gets her voice back so we can have that show. It's very exciting. And Carlos, when you come back next week, we're going to have a much more focused, pointed interview with you talking about a new baby, a new family, new worries, the realities of parenthood. And we're going to go over a bunch of things with you. But we have a great week lined up. I hope that people will be tuning in. These shows can be watched anytime. I want to remind people that if they have any questions for Carlos or any of our guests, even if you're watching this in a year from now, you can write to us. There's a button right next to the links to get to our live show. There's a button, I don't remember exactly what it says, so let me check real quick. It says contact us. That's a great button. It says questions and or comments, suggestions for show ideas, interested in being a featured guest, or send us your favorite quote. And then there's a big yellow button that says contact us. So if you ever have a question or anything that you want to comment on, please put it in there. I'd be happy to read those to our audience that's watching. Until next week, I want everyone to be safe. I want Carlos to be safe in his driving to the hospital. Keep being a good parent. Carlos, thank you for being with us tonight.
It's my pleasure.
And to everybody else, have a great night, a great weekend. We'll be back Monday and hope to have a lot of people tuning in. Thank you and take care, everyone. Good night.